Hi, I'm Adam Shep, host of the PC Podcast, and this is TYT Nation. For those of you who have been following along with the Canadian political system, I can't really blame you. The easiest way to do it, though, is just watch what the Americans are doing, wait 5 years, and that's the Conservative government of Canada. Now, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, you probably haven't heard about the robocall scandal that's been going on. Back in early March, we started to hear reports from back in the 2011 election of robocall scandals across the nation. Now, these weren't your standard robocalls, you know, the whole don't vote for this person, vote for this person's destroying the environment, this person's saving the economy. No, these were a little bit more sinister. These calls were actually, apparently, from Elections Canada, and they were directing people to the wrong polling locations on Elections Day. We actually have some audio from one of these calls.
This is an automated message from Elections Canada. Due to a projected increase in voter turnout, your polling location has been changed. Your new voting location is at the old Quebec Street Wall at 55 Linden Street North. Once again, your new poll location is the old Quebec Street Wall at 55 Linden Street North. If you have any questions, please call our hotline at 1-800-434-4456. We apologize for any inconvenience that this may cause. Ceci est un message automatique d'Élections Canada. En raison d'une augmentation prévue de la participation électorale, votre bureau de vote a été changé. Votre lieu de vote est au centre commercial du Vieux-Québec, rue du Nord à 55 ans d'Amstrolay. Une fois de plus, votre emplacement de sondage est au Vieux-Québec Stromal à 55 rue Vendôme-Nord.
Now, the problem was, these calls were actually coming from an automated call center here in Edmonton called Rack 9. Now, when they were initially contacted by Elections Canada, the only information that was released to the public was that the name of the account was Pierre Poutine. After some further investigation, however, we found out that it actually was linked to an IP address in Guelph, Ontario. Now, so far, no further information has actually been released to the public. However, in the past, we have seen the Conservatives very fond of using techniques like this. In fact, last year, in January 2010, the Manning Centre for Building Democracy held an invite-only meeting in Victoria for all the members of the current Reform and past Reform Party. One of these members, John Fryer, a former Reform Party member and current Green Party member, wrote this letter to the Globe and Mail explaining what happened. He wrote, "Topics covered included voter identification. Discussion ensued about suppression techniques. Instructors explained voter suppression tactics were borrowed from those used by the U.S. Republican Party. Many of these suppression calls were canvassed. Another instructor gave detailed explanations of how robocalls worked, techniques for recording messages, plus costs involved. He distributed his business card upon request. Instructors made it clear that robocalling and voter suppression was an acceptable and normal part of winning political campaigns." So what do we know so far? Well, what we do know is absolutely nobody is involved. All three major parties in Canada have come out saying that they have absolutely no ties to this issue, with Prime Minister Harper coming out and saying the Conservative Party can say absolutely and definitively it has no role in this. And in response to the other parties being involved, otherwise, I think we just conclude that this is simply a smear campaign without any basis. Which is funny, considering this is the third major scandal that they've been involved with since 2007. Now, it makes it even more interesting with the new 2012 budget that they've decided to cut Elections Canada's budget by $7.5 million a year, further putting a strain on the resources available to investigate these claims. Now, how big is this, you may be asking? Well, right now they're saying that over 7,000 calls were launched by the Pierre Poutine campaign, with 800 calls now into Elections Canada alleging specific abuse or fraud. Now, you may say 800 calls doesn't sound like a lot, but right now we have 40,000 complaints lodged to Elections Canada demanding a review of this process, with the Conservatives trying to push back against it, it's obvious that they're not above breaking the rules of Elections Canada. It should be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks and what details are revealed. I'm Adam Shep for TYT Nation.